Bwari lies on the northern edge of Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. Here, the bustling cityscape winds down into quiet suburbs. The eerie silence echoes the fear of a few remaining families. The once up-and-coming area is now deserted, as residents became easy prey for kidnappers. To the north of Bwari lies Kaduna. To the west, Niger State. All the border states have been in the news for kidnapping. In hindsight, it was only a matter of time before they infiltrated Bwari through a maze of thick forests and porous borders. This serene community is the backdrop for a tragic tale that began in the dead of night on January 2nd, 2024. 7 people were snatched from the safety of their home, and that was just the beginning of the nightmare. About 19 people were kidnapped in what seemed like a coordinated attack on the Sagwari estate layout Dusan Alhaji in Bwari. Clad in military-style camouflage, the heavily armed kidnappers knew their way around the hilly neighborhood and retreated through bush paths towards Kaduna State.
I'm the younger brother of the man that was kidnapped with his children. The same mother, the same father. On the 2nd of January, 2024, at exactly 9:22 p.m., I was in my house. I got a call from his wife asking me to help call my brother, an elder brother by name Abdul, who lives with him in Bwari, to help call the attention of police that they have an armed robbers. As at then, it was armed robbery incidents we thought. At about 9:38, I called him. He could not pick. I keep calling, he didn't pick. Not until about 10, the wife called back. That is Mansour's wife. He called me back that, have I been able to reach Abdul Fattah? Not knowing that at that moment he was already dead, was already shot.
When I noticed my brother was driving in, I was happy. He was the one that actually led the police to my community. So when I sighted this guy, I said, "Kai, this guy," as at that time, they had already positioned themselves again. When they said that they were coming, they didn't know what was coming, but they saw the police light on. So they knew quite all right, these guys have come for them. So on seeing that, I said, "Kai, there's nothing I could do." And I tell my children, I say, "Relax yourself." I said, "All of us should lie down." And I tell my children, I say, "Just go down." Myself too, I hide myself on the floor. Just from then, 3 of them up went to, there's a building not far from the main road. It's fenced. There's a gate there. They went to that building, but 3 of them were trying to gain entrance to that building. I was seeing them using harrow and all sorts of things to break the security lights so that people will not see them from a distance. So they break all the bulbs outside, the security lights outside, trying to climb the gates inside. So it was then they start to exchange bullets. And I saw my brother that he wanted to drive further. So he didn't know that they were close to that house. So the next thing he did was for him to reverse back, which the reverse that he did, I believe they must have shot him. So the police vehicle too got stopped. So his reverse could not go back. So they were all exchanging with themselves. So after a few minutes, both of them stopped. I think the police stopped. They can't advance further. And I said, Kai, they must have injured my brother or injured the police. For the police vehicle not to advance further, meaning that they cannot stand these guys.
The morning when I got there, I met his lifeless body in front of an emergency, accident and emergency, Bwari General Hospital. I went to meet the wife. She slept in the police station, the wife of the victim. So I picked her, took her to the house, picked her belongings, and then we went to the deceased house. That is where we stayed for some time. So it was like that. That was on Wednesday morning. We did the burial according to Islamic rite.
7 were abducted, 1 killed, and 5 later released. A father, barely making ends meet, was released to raise a huge amount of money to save his daughters.
On that day, the kidnapper started calling. Remember, the father of the children was taken along with them there. So the father called his wife's number, that's the mother of the children, that they have been kidnapped. And the kidnappers are demanding for a ransom of 60 million naira. So the wife heard it and we're all panicking. How are they? How are the children? I hope they are fine. Yes, the father said yes, they are beating him, but the children are okay. And they have been feeding them. There is the children that have been cooking for the kidnappers and him as well. But that they beat him every day. They called again on Thursday and they told us that the father will be released to go and raise the sum of 60 million naira. So we waited. So 3 days after, the father called. I was there with the mother when he called. He was asking us, where should he come? Then we asked him to come to Abdul Fattah's house in Bwari. So he took a bike and he came. We welcomed him, me and Abbas. He was wearing a short knicker with a t-shirt and there was no shoes.
They gave him time frame before he left there, that by Friday, he was released on Thursday. Friday, maybe in 8 days' time, he should bring the ransom of what? 60 million naira. He was there, he came home, trying to see what we can raise. So we started renegotiation with them. They have made him to negotiate at gunpoint in the bush. That was why they arrived at 60 million. It was above that, they mentioned to him. But through beating, he has to agree to a certain amount and then he left there. So coming out, we have to start a new, negotiation with them. Through this negotiation, we are going and we are informing police every step we take. We started and they are threatening us. They will put the children, they will be beating them while they are talking to us so that we will hear the cry and we will make sure we cede to what they want. We got to a point, we started to mention the amount. We started with 5 million. They were joking, they were laughing. We go on like that, to the extent we spend about 3-4 days. We're on that 5 million. Before we know it, I went home, I went out. Before I came back, they called. So my brother was forced to pick the call. Was telling them he's still in the hospital, he's receiving treatment, this, that. So out of fear, he was able to talk, and they get to 10 million naira. That, please, I'm going to give you 10 million naira. We thought they have agreed, and we went on like that until Friday, with series of threats.
After contacting family members via phone calls, they demanded 700 million naira ransom for 9 of their victims. To prove they meant business, they killed 4 of the hostages, including 13-year-old Folashade Ario, who was killed because her father could only raise 7 million naira from the demanded 60 million naira ransom. The kidnappers did not stop there. They threatened to kill Folashade's mother and 3 remaining siblings in captivity if their demands were not met. Securing the ransom was a sordid affair for the family. As they scampered to meet the kidnappers' demands, another fatal blow.
We give you time and locations to meet us with that 10 million. That was the agreement. They called us about 7 in the evening that we should wait. In the next few minutes, they will call. They didn't call not until 10, past 10 in the night. And the moment he called, the next thing he's going to tell us is that, okay, na barma kusako. I left a message for you in the bush. He gave us the description of the location, Ida Junction. He said when we get to Ida Junction, we should ask of Gidandogo. When we get to Gidandogo, we should ask them, where is Soukaka Wuta in Hausa? So when he made the description, we seek the intervention of a bikeman that knows the area very well. Do you know these locations? He said, yes, okay. We asked somebody to help us go and verify what the information he gave us the night. We had to sleep over it. We kept it. We didn't allow the families to know, even the father and the mother. But he has told us that he left a black message for us.
He said we should go that night or we should go early in the morning. That they have killed some people there, that we should go and identify our own. They said we should go that night or early in the morning so that dog will not mutilate the body, so that we will not accuse them of raping our child. We said, okay. So in the morning, we don't know which of them they killed because they didn't give us a name. So in the morning, early in the morning, we got somebody, and I think an indigenous of Bwari there that knows those terrain very well, because we were afraid of going there ourselves. Because there was a time he has threatened even me, saying that, so we thought it would be wise for any family member not to go there directly. So we asked that man to go on bike, since he said he knows that area very well, to go and see if truly there were some cops there. So on getting there, he said he saw some cops, 4 cops, 3 females, 1 male. Okay, then we asked him to take a picture of the cops so that we'll identify if one of our girls is there. So he did that, sent it through WhatsApp, so we were able to identify that it was Nabeeha that they killed.
Nabeeha Al-Qadriya was a graduate of biological sciences from the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. A bright student, loved by many, she had hopes of furthering her education abroad and towing the academic line. She was passionate about global warming and climate change. Her family describes her as intelligent and studious. She spent most of her time with her elder sister, Najiba, and younger sister, Nadriha, who all studied at Ahmadu Bello University. Another cousin, Mordia Isa Salauddin, went to school with them and often spent holidays with the family. The younger twin sisters, Habiba and Hanisa, were inseparable. Unfortunately, the sisters and their cousin were kidnapped alongside their father that night. After 2 weeks in the kidnappers' den, the family got some respite. Nabeeha's story is one of many. A devastated family left behind to relieve the treacherous ordeal. But The conflicting narratives around the rescue have not been laid to rest. The Nigerian police insists no ransom was paid for the release of Nabeeha's sisters.
We have also done the best we can to also rescue so many on our own without payment of a ransom. There is no completing report as far as I'm concerned. There is no completing report as far as I'm concerned. If you want to know whether money was paid or this thing, go and see the members of the public. I mean the family. They will tell you. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm not aware of any money being paid as a commissioner of police. What I know is what I'm telling you. Is that clear?
The intricacies of this rescue mission complicate an already distressing situation. It raises questions about the methods used to secure the release of victims. The veracity of these divergent accounts highlights the challenges and uncertainties that surround efforts to combat kidnappings in Nigeria. The family unequivocally affirm that a ransom was indeed paid, despite involving the police from the onset.
If they have evidence to show that ransom was not paid, if they have interface with the kidnappers, if they have a way that they have rescued the children, they can substantiate their point. We are not having any issue with anybody. We are law-abiding citizens. We try not, as much as possible, not to allow our emotions to overrule some things, but let the truth be told. All of us are in the same process. We are dying one day. Irrespective of how we die, death is inevitable and is one. So let us not drag the issue. Ransom was paid. I would tell you wholeheartedly.
Fear persists in Bwari and other communities in the outskirts of Abuja. The lucky few who haven't been kidnapped sleep with their eyes open, wondering if they will be next. The tension is palpable in Abuja. Hundreds have been abducted in recent years. This alarming trend is predominantly fueled by criminal gangs who see kidnapping as a lucrative venture.
When we were about taking the ransom there, he was like, he's on his knees that, please, I shouldn't involve any security men because he's afraid they will kill the rest of the children. And I told him, we too, we don't involve security men as we are taking this ransom to them. Because if these people discover that we are coming with any security men, the life of the children will be in danger. So that's it. So we felt we just have to pay the ransom. We want a government that will secure our lives and properties. It's the same thing as what every Nigerian wanted.
Beacon Intel in January 2024 reported 26 kidnappings in December 2023. With 5 deaths reported and 67 people abducted across the FCT, the numbers are cause for concern.
Most of the places where the abductions were occurring were in border communities between the FCT and Nasarawa State, Kogi State, Niger State, and Kaduna State. Now, because these 4 states that I've mentioned are security challenge states, what we observed was it was very easy for the perpetrators, and we were able to identify 2 groups that were responsible for their kidnap for ransom cases. These are the criminal groups and then the non-state armed groups that everybody call bandits. They were able to come into these communities in the border areas between FCT and these 4 states, carry out the abduction using paths that are in forested areas and mountainous areas of the FCT and escape to them. And at that time, there wasn't really much in terms of what the security agencies were doing to prevent the use of those mountainous and forested parts by these groups.
improve security, we have no hesitation. The president has directed me to let you know he feels your pain, and that's why he said you must go and see all the area councils and talk to them about our now preparedness to face insecurity to logical conclusion. You see us going with all the heads of security agencies. That's to tell you, yes, it will not have been like this yesterday, but I can assure you, from now henceforth, you'll be hearing a different story. And different story you'll be hearing will be a positive one. We are fully prepared to support our security agencies.
The year 2023 was a violent one, as there were opportunistic criminal activities, including abductions, in all 6 area councils of the FCT.
The general conversation is that one of the low-hanging fruits that this government could have benefited from would have been to solve the security challenge. And the fact that how many months now, I think about 6 months down the road, the government is yet to manage the security conundrum. In fact, we're seeing an increase in the security conundrum. Makes me, not just me, it makes a lot of Nigerians ask critical questions about the government's capacity to handle the security challenge. So yes, the trust that the people have given the government in the area of security is fast deteriorating, and the earlier the government reverses this, the better. And it's a low-hanging fruit. There are so many things that can be done at the national level and of course at the subnational level to improve security.
Kidnappings for ransom in Abuja have been gradual but steadily increasing. The pattern aligns with those observed in states such as Sokoto, Borno, Nasarawa, Kaduna and Niger states, along with certain areas in the southern part of the country. The trend points towards an escalation in criminal abductions.
When we look at the root causes of kidnapping in general, there are always socioeconomic factors. And we've seen in Boko Haram context, it's also that with the security and the religious ideologies. But with the FCT, I feel like when we look at it, from 2016 to 2020, I think there was a report by SBM that said $11 million has been paid as ransom in Nigeria. For the last decade in Nigeria, we've seen a high rise of violence and insecurity. How has that affected people? Has there been awareness of how, this gap of insecurity, unemployment, has it been breached in any way? No, it hasn't. We have youths who walk around with nothing. We can also see how the political affluence of embezzlement that is going around, which can actually be disappointing to Nigerians, normal Nigerians who have to suffer every day to feed daily. Because I don't think it's possible if a common Nigerian has the opportunity to buy food in bulk. We wouldn't be facing a lot of these issues.
For victims, families and the community, the deepest blow might be the less visible psychological impact. The lingering fear and sense of insecurity is mental torture.
Any experience you undergo that makes you have the feeling that you are a survivor is a traumatic experience. Thereafter the experience, many undergo what we call post-traumatic stress disorder. Post means after, after the trauma, the stress that comes with it. The kind of stress we are referring to here is the individual reliving the experience in their sleep, even in their wakefulness. They relive the experience. In their sleep, they dream about such a thing or something similar happening. That is evidence of presence of post-traumatic stress disorder. And it has to be treated. For some people, they get over it without undergoing any treatment. But many more would really experience a post-traumatic stress disorder to varying degrees. And it can run from months to years even until there is an intervention. Either the individual taking it upon himself to say, look, what the hell? I have to leave. Life must go on. He can get over it that way. Or you seek help.
A substantial effort is needed to address the mental health challenges faced by survivors. This includes the necessary support for them to regain a sense of safety and security within their communities.
I think the government is not really recognizing the psychological components to the problems Nigerians who have gone through kidnapping really require to fully recover. I'm not aware of any plan in that direction at all. People are just rescued and dumped on their families. I'm not aware that they are allowed to undergo this debriefing, what you may call systematic desensitization to get rid of the panic attacks, anxiety disorders, and post-traumatic stress disorders. I'm not aware. So government needs to know that, look, until this aspect is dealt with, the individual has not been fully recovered. You may have physically recovered the individual, but the psychological component is left there, and they will continue to suffer it until they get over it, and some don't.
The surge in kidnappings poses an urgent threat. The perception of the FCT as a safe haven has been shattered, with some having experienced direct threats to their safety, while others grapple with the fear of potential attacks. Addressing this issue is crucial to restoring a sense of security and normalcy in Abuja.